Most people think you need tens and thousands of dollars to run AI on server farms and data centers way across the country. But did you know even a mid-tier system that you bought maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago is probably a very capable AI machine and can run all of the latest algorithms easily? How? Let's find out. So let's call this local AI. So what is local AI anyway? Now think of services like ChatGPT, Gemini. Now these are massive algorithms trained on millions, billions, trillions of words, images, videos, music, whatever, everything that possibly exists. Now usually these models live on giant data centers which are across the country or across the continent. So when you ask a question in India, your data is traveling all the way to US or maybe wherever the nearest data center is, and answer is sent back to you on your phone. So when you run it locally, the question and answer, all of that happens on the same device. Instead of using an AI model loaded up in a remote data center somewhere, you are actually loading it up on your PC. Data security 101, 101. But why even do this? Why take the trouble of trying to run it locally when it's already happening online? Why do I care? That's a great question. I think the simplest answer to why even do it is actually data security. Now, in most use cases, you may not be worried about your photo going across data centers, being stored somewhere, and a different version coming to you. Maybe you don't care about that. But think of it this way. Think of a company, or maybe think of your legal rep in your company trying to upload a sensitive document that it needs AI to review for it. Because it's 600 pages, he got to submit it tomorrow, doesn't have the time. Definitely needs help of any chatbot who is decent enough to review it and give it a summary or whatever, red flags or something. It's probably data you don't want to be on the cloud, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Similarly, a whole lot of enterprises don't actually want their data to be possibly at risk. Because अगर वो data center hack हुआ या वो company का data center hack हुआ, you don't want your shit to spill out and people having that data. So basically data security is the simplest answer. I know this is a long-winded one, but who is it even for? Let's get back to that. It's for developers and power users. Now many people are actually running CloudBot on their Mac minis. Mac minis are out of stock in many places globally now, but I digress once again. It's for coders. It improves productivity. You don't really have usage limits. You don't have to pay API fee. You could potentially you could dial into your home computer and use it on your phone. Like that's what CloudBot is doing anyhow. So people are chatting with their AI assistant, which is living on their system through Telegram. How cool is that? So yeah, it's kind of like a mini Gemini. Now, assuming that the models get better and better, you probably don't even need Gemini. Wonder why Google stock price is going up anyway. Okay, now doing this locally, models like Qwen 3 VL, these even perform very close to Anthropic's cloud, which is kind of like the gold standard for coding these days. कुछ भी cloud announce करता है, वो industry का stock price down. Now, who is it for persona number 2? It's for creators. Now, many good image generation models like Stable Diffusion or Z Image actually have long queues or waiting times, or even pay per image kind of models where you end up paying money out of pocket for every image you generate. Like this creator on Instagram isn't even real. It's just a virtual persona who is ripping off videos from other people's profiles and just packaging them in a aesthetically pleasing format. Conventionally attractive format as well. Yeah. So yeah, you gain control over resolution, how it looks, how it sounds, and you get views per user. So I'm guessing that specific person we just talked about, I don't think they're generating it online. They probably have shifted their workflow offline. It's just faster, easier, better, right? Now we talked about privacy. To touch upon it again, if you're working in healthcare, finance, or law, you don't really want these documents to be leaking or be available on the public internet. You want some level of data security, even to your own health records or even your own finance records. You don't want your dad knowing what OnlyFans is on your credit card statement, right? Do you know how much Indians spend on OnlyFans.com? Just Google it. This is going to shock you. Legit, it's going to shock you. Lastly, why should someone do this locally is is absolutely no censorship. Yeah, I feel strongly about this. You get to generate what you want to generate without exception. Now, whether you are able to share it or not share it is a different question altogether. But just generating it should be allowed. Nobody should stop you from generating what you want to generate. आपका मर्जी, आपका दिमाग, आपका model. At least get to see the result, right? See how damaged your brain is. Now, before we dive in, let's quickly talk about what you actually need. Now, the quirk with running inferencing on budget GPUs is that we can't really run the entire model on the GPU itself because the VRAM is not enough. Now, most consumer GPUs kind of max out at around 16 GB or 12 GB or the most hated 8 GB these days. Now, we could run smaller models that fit in there, but there is a workaround to run even better stuff. This is called partial GPU layer offloading. I mean, it's exactly how it sounds, where you load the model up to the GPU capacity, then offload the remaining weights on the CPU and RAM. Smart, eh? Smart, eh? PCMR ऐसे नहीं बोलते हो. Now, this gives us room to actually run better models which you otherwise wouldn't be able to run, right? So keep this in mind. Now, with that being said, this is what the base requirement is, what we would suggest. 8 GB of VRAM and at least 16 GB of regular RAM. इतना base बना के चलो और most things that we're talking about should be able to work. Now let's get to the interesting part. How do we actually install it? Now, navigate to the LM Studio website, download LM Studio and of course install it. Oh yeah, not that easy. Now open the app, look for the recommended models. You can select something smaller like Llama 3.2, 1 billion to just test stuff out and if everything is working fine. Now before you start chatting, you need to move the model into the system's active memory. Click Start New Chat at the top of the screen, select Model, load, choose the Llama model that you just downloaded, then on the sidebar, look for GPU offload. Slide this up to offload processing to the GPU for faster responses. Now, load model at the bottom right. Now you're ready to interact. Go crazy with your text prompts. Yeah, ask it stuff which you won't be able to generate online. That's the whole point. I mean, Hugging Face में जाके थोड़े मॉडल के नाम पढ़ोगे तो आपको पता चल जाएगा what's possible. I'll just leave it at that. Now, with all these companies making rental terminals of computers and data centers and pushing away ownership, it's more and more important that we depend on our own hardware. I mean, this is a good time to actually support open source. Do not use those models from these big name companies. All those benefits are going to start trickling down to open source models, which will probably do as good as these frontier models or even better eventually. One can hope that models get democratized and not everything turns into SaaS or HaaS, hardware as a service, software as a service kind of thing. So yeah, I know everyone's already sick of subscriptions. So yeah, that was how you can get started with installing your own AI model on your local PC and do shit yourself. Peace, bro. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.